I stand in opposition to SB 1446. Of all the gun bills that we've entertained here today, I think that this has been the most egregious. It certainly has been the one that has garnered the most attention with emails and phone calls to my office, because this represents the incremental beginning of the taking of weapons by government, led by the state of California. I'm going to quote Adolf Hitler, who said, "To conquer a nation, first disarm its citizens." If we haven't learned anything from history and the genocide that occurred during the Holocaust, and certainly the Armenian genocide, where the citizens were stripped of their weapons. Part of the Second Amendment is to protect the citizens not only from criminals, but to protect them from militias. And this law, if this bill is passed into law, it's going to require those to turn in their high-capacity magazines that may have been handed down from generation to generation, maybe collectors. And I appreciate that the author claims that this is not eminent domain. My friends, with eminent domain, the government takes your property and they pay you for it. In this case, the government can take your property and they don't pay you for it, in addition to being an unfunded mandate on law enforcement to destroy these magazines. This law, if you will, proposed law, has actually been tried in the city of Los Angeles as a way to curb the kind of violence that we all deplore in this country, in this state. And I'll ask you, how many magazines have been turned in to the LAPD or the LA County Sheriff's Department since that has been enacted? The answer is zero. Not one has been turned in. And I will opine that people, if this is passed into a law in the state of California, will continue to hold on to their magazines and not turn them in. And while we deplore these horrible terrorist attacks that we've seen, these criminals, these terrorists, are not going into gun shops and buying their weapons. I appreciated that you all stood with me as we had an anti-Iran resolution that was a resolution saying we are not in support of ending sanctions against Iran and allowing them to continue the nuclear proliferation program. We gave them $150 billion in sanction money, keeping in mind that we give Israel about $3 billion a year in military aid. This rogue nation is going to continue to support terrorism off our shores and on our shores, and they're not getting those weapons through legitimate means. They're getting it through the black market. And I hope that we will enable to our citizens to continue to arm themselves, because this is a very egregious attack on our Second Amendment rights. And I will opine once again, if it does get passed, if it does get signed, it will be litigated, and it will not meet with the muster of the courts in supporting our Second Amendment rights in this country and our state. I strongly urge a no vote.